Earthbound by Artemis Greenleaf. Chapter 4. The Letter. A few weeks slip by, or perhaps a few months. It's easy to lose track of time when you're dead. I've never seen Dad so excited, except maybe when he found out Mama was pregnant with Sheridan. He clutched a letter in his right hand as he burst through the front door. My sister was sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. "Look, sure, it's from Haunted Planet." "Oh," she said without looking up, probably not even listening. The ends of her sandy hair grazed the table as she slouched over her books. She looked so much like Mama, it scared me sometimes. She had the same aquamarine eyes, the same slight build, and the same high cheekbones. Dad ripped open the envelope. "Yes," he kissed the letter. "Sheridan, they're coming to our house." "Oh, are they? Who are they again?" Was she being so dense on purpose? "Rodney Aldrich and Haunted Planet." I thought Dad was going to pick her up and toss her in the air like a baby. Sometimes Sheridan watched television with her friends when she was invited to play at other children's houses. Anyone who watched more than a millisecond of TV knew what Haunted Planet was. "Dad, is that really a good idea? I don't want him to come here. I don't want a bunch of strangers in the house messing up my stuff. Besides, there's no such thing as ghosts. Sister Osberger says so." His mood darkened. That old decrepit crone is almost a ghost herself. Haunted Planet is coming whether you like it or not, Missy, so you best get over it. Don't forget, you're the one who started it, seeing hands coming out of your orange juice. Sheridan shook her head and went back to doing her homework. Had she forgotten our almost encounter so quickly? And after all I'd done for her? It looked like barbarians were at the gate, and I didn't know how to keep them out. I was annoyed, so I thought I'd have a little fun. I walked right through Dad. He shivered and let out a kind of strangled cough. The cold vibration of his fear rippled through me, and it felt good. "You ought not to have done that, Schuyler." Connor rarely spoke, and his disapproval was a sharp pin in my little bubble of smugness. "Playing up like that, you're sure to make a bad situation worse." I'm sorry. I really was. I felt awful now. But Rodney Aldrich can't be allowed to come here. It's too dangerous for Sheridan. And the rest of us. Or at least me, anyway. "'Tis all right, my girl. I know you're angry. I'm not so keen on that rabble myself. But don't fret yourself. I have some business with a relative of mine. My grandmother's grandfather's sister, you see. Come along with me. It's sure to ease your mind. Me old auntie, she was quite famous in these parts. She might be able to lend us some aid, or at least some advice." Famous? What did she do? I thought she must have baked a really great potato something or other. Connell leaned towards me, like he was telling secrets. "She was a pirate." "Stop the lights. A pirate?" "Indeed she was. The infamous Gran Whale Niwala. The English call her Grace O'Malley." How did she get to be a pirate? I had no idea there was such a thing as a lady pirate. "Her whole family were seafarers. When her father and brother set out to sea, she was desperate to go too. She cut her hair short like a man's and pestered her father until he agreed to let her come along. They did tease her and call her Grania. That means bold grace after that. Perhaps her dad thought one voyage would cure her of wanting any more, but she took to it like a duck to water. She was the most feared pirate of her time around Galway Bay. As a lad, I heard quite a few tales of Aunt Granwell. Where is she? How do we talk to her? What would a pirate be like? Would she say arg? Well, sometimes she's at her old family castle on Clare Island. Sometimes she's at Hen's Castle in Loch Corrib. Hen's Castle? They come up with the weirdest names in this place. Auntie Granwell's first husband was so brave in battle, he was known as Donald the Cock. When he was killed defending the castle Castellan and Circa, Auntie Granwell, she took a terrible revenge on those that took his life. So fierce was she that she got her own title. Since she was the wife of the cock, they called her the Hen and renamed the castle after her. Deadly. If anyone could get rid of that awful Rodney Aldridge, it would be her. So you see, my old auntie, she might have an idea or two. Connell gave me a smile and a wink. So, which is it? Which castle? Connell twisted his lips to the right, then to the left, as if he were chewing on his thoughts. It's mid-spring. Clare Island was her summer home. I think that's where we'll find my auntie. How do we get there? I was ready to go now. Do you know of ley lines, Schuyler? Not really, no. I hadn't realised how much there was I didn't know. Ley lines are a mystery to the non-deads. Sometimes they can see them if they climb on something high, like a mountain. The lines are perfectly straight and carry on for miles. Some people think they're old trade routes from prehistoric people, and some think they're an earth energy. But they're none of that. Ley lines are spirit highways. He smiled and winked at me again. He always did that. It was like I was being let in on some huge joke. Highways? Can't ghosts just float to wherever they want? I'd never thought about ghosts wanting to travel before. Of course they can. But if they're going any distance, they'll want to take the ley. It's so much faster. And it's safer too. Safer? What can happen to a ghost? Quite a lot, me girl. There are things that would see you as a tasty morsel. I remembered the headless woman in the bar and thought about parasites. Oh. Una appeared next to Connell and gave him a kiss on the cheek. Then she kissed the top of my head. I hate when she does that. I'm not a little child, even if I do look like one. I heard you two conspiring to visit Granwell. Give her my best. Good luck to you then. Be safe. We will, my love. You'll hardly know we're gone. Come on, Schuyler. We went outside and glided the 6 miles to the village. It was a lot faster than walking, but it still seemed to take forever. Past the town square and out to the churchyard we flew. Most of the graves were topped by Celtic crosses, weather-beaten soldiers keeping watch over the dead. I couldn't help stopping at my own grave on the way to the far end of the cemetery. Our beloved daughter, with choirs of angels now she sings. If only they knew. Schuyler. Connell had that concerned look in his eye. Coming? I've been a ghost for longer than I was alive. Seeing my headstones shouldn't bother me, should it? In the cemetery, at the furthest point from the church, stood a big grey obelisk with a patinaed bronze plaque. Even though it was close to the road, I'd never paid any attention to it before. Connell took my hand and led me to the north side of the monument. Before I had time to ask what came next, we were sucked into a clear tube or tunnel. The trees, grass, buildings, cars blurred together, and a swoosh of air rushing by engulfed me. It seemed less than 5 seconds before we stopped at a church in Runakey. That's about 30 miles as the birds fly, more by road. I told you it would be swift. If I had breath, it would have been taken away. Whoa, was all I could think to say. No, it's not so good for us to cross seawater without something solid between us and it. So we'll hop on the next ferry across. Why? Wouldn't you know it would be Skylar Ramsay who'd ask me such a question? I'm no man of letters, my girl. I do know that some substances, seawater, vinegar and silver amongst them, can dissolve a ghost, and they're best avoided. For seawater, a boat or a bridge, betwixt and between, that'll make all the difference. I didn't have time to answer before something with very strong, cold hands grabbed me by the wrist. Earthbound by Artemis Greenleaf. This work is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivative Works 3.0 United States license. Environmental sound effects used in this podcast were provided by www.freesound.org. Please check artemisgreenleaf.com for details of specific samples used. If you'd like to leave a comment or learn more about the other projects in progress, please go to www.artemisgreenleaf.com.
Dandelion girl, what you playing?